Welcome to the Dive Bar. If you are seeing this right now, then you now know that we have a new show coming your way. Every Friday throughout the season, I will be joined with the homie Reason from Phinside the NFL. We're going to call it Last Call because it's going to be on Friday. Kind of going to take everything, all the news from the timeline and from the Dolphins and from our shows and his shows. We'll kind of gather it all in one place for you and make it digestible and kind of give you something to kind of like cap off the week, heading into the weekend, maybe spend your lunch break watching. So, yeah, I'm excited to do it. Excited to have Reason on. It's going to be a good time. We're going to talk a lot of ball. We're going to cut up. We're going to talk shit, of course, like usual. But, yeah, we're here. Let's get into it.
I'm putting the helmet on as always.
The opportunity is right now.
Terrific defensive play, intercepted. From the Balboa, off the block, two on the move, going deep, speed race. He's got Hill. He's got Hill. The Dolphins have recaptured the lead.
The intro still hits hard, but man,
Does.
the
Jalen Ramsey, I get it. I feel the pain, bro.
Javon Holland, Jalen Ramsey,
Yeah,
Mostert.
Yeah.
We'll get them things updated. Well, Reason, appreciate you for coming on board for the season, brother. Really excited to chop it up with you every week and, talk some ball.
Yeah, man. Last call for football because Saturday is, Friday night, college football really starts. Saturday is obviously college football Saturday and then Sunday. And we got, NFL football tonight, too, on Friday with the Chiefs game, too. So it's a football-heavy week, right?
Yeah, dude, football is back. Couldn't be more excited. Speaking of last night, you had your new show debuted. Got the starting lineup rolling now. You want to kind of talk about that and tell us what's going on there?
Yeah, so, 2 out of 4 guys showed up. Shout out to, Cody. Me and him were the last of the Mohicans. Next week, it'll be me and Doug with 2 Patriots content creators, and we'll be going back and forth and debating, and people will start to get a more feel of what the format's supposed to be like. Still got a couple of things we're working on to add to it. But yeah, it was a good conversation with Cody, talking about the Colts, talking about the in and outs, and, he gave what he thought would be the key for the Miami Dolphins to beat the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm sure we'll cover that whenever we talk about the defense today and stuff too. So yeah, it was a good time, good conversation.
Yeah, I watched it. It was good stuff. The only thing I found interesting is like he realized
The only thing.
No. Look, you're gonna get it when I land. You'll get it when I land. Reason is plenty interesting, guys. Calm down. He realized that Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. But it kind of seemed to me like he thought like if the Dolphins want to win, he kept spinning it like if the Dolphins want to win, I don't really feel like it shouldn't be that much to it. I mean, if the Dolphins want to lose, there might be something to talk about, but like this shouldn't be a game, right? Like this should be a win, correct?
Yeah, he predicted us to win. Spoiler alert, right? I think we're going to win. When I went and did because I went on their preview show on Bring the Juice, when I went and did that, I told him, I said, listen, when I did my final prediction, I was kind of, I was being nice with it. I think there's a world where we run away with this one. I really honestly believe that, especially if Ollie Gordon gets going, because the opportunities are going to be there with Jalen Wright out and stuff. So, I don't know. It was a good conversation when I went on the previous show, but I could sense they believed, that they might be better than they are. I think the quarterback situation is going to be a big, do we all think Daniel Jones is going to become Sam Darnold? Please. Okay. At least you saw the passer at USC that Sam Darnold is. Do you ever see that passer when you go back and watch the college film of Daniel Jones? Come on. We just saw the athlete, right? So, I don't know. I think we'll be fine as long as we contain Jonathan Taylor, bro. We'll be good.
Yeah, like you said, Ollie Gordon should be in for a big day. We talked about that. The anytime Ollie Gordon touchdown is like free money this weekend, I think.
Yeah, it is.
With him being RB2 and then Achan being the other back, he's
I
probably
got one for you.
on work.
What about first touchdown? Ollie Gordon, first touchdown in the game.
Oh, you can double them up.
Because if we get the ball and we drive down, who you think they might give it to in the red zone? If we get down to like the 3 or 2, you're probably feeling real good if you made that bet. Because that's what I took us on one of mine for us to win, and I took him as first touchdown scorer.
And McDaniel's already shown he's got this I think he's out to prove a point with that finishing drives off with the run game.
Well, dude, the offensive line, like Jonas Savai-Naya, he's like, you're seeing him struggle in pass pro a little bit for sure, but you're seeing him be dominant, right, against defenders in run sets. So I think a good way to mask the weakness is to play to the strengths, and it feels like the strength of this offensive line at the end of the day is going to be running the football if they're all healthy. Now I think Austin Jackson to the right side of the line with James Daniels, that's intriguing, especially when you get into space for screens and stuff. We know how good Austin Jackson can be in space, but can the guy stay healthy? So I think that, man, that offensive line, if it's healthy, it's going to be a top 15 offensive line. If it's having to rely on Larry Borum or Kendall Lamb or
Liam
Eichenberg, you know what I mean? Like, then you might have an issue. And we might be, because the thing is, like, everyone you know how it is. I mean, brother, you sit on X, you see what time it is. Everyone wants to make it really simplistic and just put it on the quarterback. 2023, they forget, dude. Like, when we had Isaiah Wynn and Connor Williams in there, that's when Achan was dominant, right? That's when Raheem Mostert didn't have a 100-yard game on the ground after Isaiah Wynn went down. Like, we saw the dominance. Here's the thing. You know why we saw the dominance in that 70-point game? Because the whole offensive line was healthy. Like, so the run game fed off of it. Tua fed off of it. You know what I mean? But think about that, dude. Like, you compare us to someone like the Bills, who historically over the last 2 years, I mean, you saw Al talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Historically over the last 2 years, they've been literally one of the best teams in history in terms of keeping their offensive line healthy over the last 2 years, in terms of games played compared to games missed by starters. And we're over here having to, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I didn't know about the 2-year thing, but I do know. I think they were the only team to field all 5 starters 17 games last year, which is that's aggravating if you're a Dolphins fan. We already hate the Bills enough. That's just cherry on top right there. But I think we can all agree that given health, which is such an asterisk now, it's a given with Dolphins. Given health, this is the best offensive line we've had in quite some time, and it definitely pay dividends if we can keep those guys on the field. Speaking of injury report, we're at the end of the week now. Everything pretty normal, what we expected. Ethan Bonner obviously was never going to probably play week 1. Jalen Wright not going to play week 1, but we did have a little plot twist. James Daniel limited with an ankle injury. Are you concerned at all about that, or what do you think?
Not really. Not really. I'm good on that. He'll be good to go. If I saw him did not practice, I might be a little bit worried. The only thing I'm really worried about, I know Achan is good. The only thing I'm worried about is, and not even worried about it, is just how weird the whole Darren Waller situation has been. It's deliberate. Then, we get our first injury report of the season. It's like, oh, hip, did not practice. Now, is it because they're, tucking him away and he's all of a sudden do not practice when the media is present? I don't know. And they're trying to unleash him at some point, maybe against the Bills or something. I don't know. But that's just a whole weird situation with how that's being handled. That's the only thing to me. It's because Bobby, they were ramping him up last week, and it's okay, here we go. He's going to be good to go. And what sucks about Ethan Bonner is, dude, the chance is there. It's waiting for you, kid. Last year, it didn't seem like the defensive coaching staff really bought into you the way Fangio's staff did. But because you're playing the preseason, you stuck around and you look like you could be an impact player, and I don't want to say like Deion Sanders impact player, but making some impact plays is what I mean this season, especially with that crazy athleticism, and you can't stay healthy, man. Like, does that open the door for Cam Smith, who everyone says are over? I don't know, bro. I keep going back to Cam Smith, but the injury report, there's nothing really, Achan's good to go. Austin Jackson's good to go.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here. Because, dude, fielding that offensive line, my God. I said to the guys after we did the Colts show, bro, they said, good luck. I said, listen, I'm not going to wish you good luck because, I don't want you guys to win. You don't have to wish me good luck to win. That's fine. But I will wish you, and I hope you will wish me good luck when it comes to injury, especially when it comes to our quarterback. Thank you very much. So that's where I'm at, Like, are we going to are we going to see how good they are in that first half, and then Austin Jackson, gets a hangnail and he's out for the rest of the game? I don't know, bro.
That would be my like the offense overall. Like, I am curious to see how it looks in general because they haven't spent a lot of time as a whole together this all season, which they kind of been doing that lately. Like, so I am interested to see like what Tyreek's kind of been held to the side. Achan missed the entire preseason. Austin Jackson's been put on ice for pretty much the entire preseason. So I am interested to see when all the pieces are out there together. Is it smooth? Is it fireworks? Is it like, okay, this looks like a team that hasn't played together. They need a couple weeks to get this thing rolling. What do you kind of expect? What's your expectations about the overall, quality of the offense?
I'll give you before we get to that, I'll give you a positive from the injury report. At least we've seen Dante Trader as a full participant the last few days, and Ashton Davis has been limited, but he's gearing up. He's going to be good to go. Well, at least we're going to see this full safety tandem in terms of like, we're going to see a lot of 3 high safety looks. So we're going to be able to see the rotation behind them a little bit too with like Dante Trader in there. So there are some positives to take away from that. Would you ask what the expectations were for this offense? My expectations would probably be against the Colts or in general?
Yeah, just week one. Just week one. What are you expecting it to look like?
See, that's the thing, dude. We should be a well-oiled machine. I think, wasn't that what was worrisome for you when you watched that Jaguars, the opening drives? Is that was worrisome for you? Like, you guys should be a well-oiled machine. Like, in previous years, what did they look like in the offseason, bro? In the preseason, they'd look like a well-oiled machine. And they did for that one drive. But, man, is it just me or... Thank God... I feel like, thank God, Tyreek and Waddle are going to be out there because Tua trusts them. It feels like he doesn't trust Akine. It feels like he doesn't, I don't know, man. They should be a well-oiled machine because he's got the chemistry with Tyreek and Waddle and Malik.
Malik for sure.
Right? He's got the chemistry with Achan, and Achan's going to be dynamic. Ollie's running hard. If that offensive line stays healthy, I mean, again, week one, we should be putting up 20-plus points easily, dude.
I expect 20-plus points. I just worry, like, I hate to use the word, but with a timing-based offense and they haven't been on the field together, I just think we'll see some array throws and some balls go over heads and kind of places where they're...
You guys have been playing together for how long now? Xavier Howard's been out of the league for how long now? Okay, and he's banged up when he was here. It was clear he's losing a step. Let's not all lie to ourselves right now. And this is my whole issue is like, okay, they went and got Javarius Ward. Okay, are they going heavy zone? Because if not, like let's eat these kids a little bit here. Like that's gonna be, that's probably gonna be one of my biggest X factors for this game is Xavier Howard against Tyreek or Waddle. If they end up getting those matches, they got to exploit him because, dude, he can't keep up with those guys. They will eat him alive, dude. I don't care how long you played with them in practice. You've been out of the league for too long. These guys have been, well-oiled machines.
Yeah, a couple things I said about X is like, a couple things here, like you said. If they're going to play zone, you already got X uncomfortable because he doesn't like zone. He wants to be in man. He wants to be up on you. And so that would be a win for us. But if you play man, like you just said, him and his hamstrings have to chase Waddle and Tyreek.
You're done.
In his first action in 2 years. I like us for 60 minutes there.
And Charvarius Ward comes from a predominantly zone-based defense in San Fran. I'm not saying he can't play man, but I'm just saying, like, it's not something they've asked of him, right? So, yeah, I mean, man, we should, like, dude, and with you add with what Malik was flashing us, man.
Malik looks like ready.
What we wanted OBJ to be.
Not just wide receiver 3. Malik just looks like a weapon.
He looks like what we wanted OBJ to be as a wide receiver 3. Oh my God, we've added a legit. You know what we found our answer to? Because this guy's kind of pigeonholed to the slot.
Yeah,
Khalil,
when people
Khalil
take
Shakir.
Yeah,
we found our answer to
Khalil
Shakir.
When people take Waddle and Tyreek out of the play, and you need somebody to beat a man up 1-on-1 on 3rd and 6, you got Malik Washington now, and that's what really killed our offense a lot in the past. We had nobody that can win a 1-on-1 when they take Tyreek and Waddle out of the play.
Yeah, I mean Jonnu could, but you need a receiver who could threaten underneath like that with quickness after the catch. And it looks like if Tyreek does have issues, like let's say his hand again or whatever, Tajay Washington looks like the perfect guy to fit in right and take that role. I mean, he might be dynamic.
He's so smooth out there, man. It's like he's doing the salsa when he plays.
The problem is, dog, like Jalen Waddle's the biggest out of all the guys we're talking about.
One of our if you want
to talk about bulk, then it's Tyreek. But if you're talking about size, it's Jalen.
Yeah, none of them are big. Even Tyreek, like he's big for his size. But one of our biggest things on the show were we was hoping Theo Weiss or Andrew Armstrong could make the team before the preseason started, just in general, because we wanted a guy that was a little different mold to step up in that room. It's not really how it worked. But if Darren Waller is playing, you got that. Obviously. Nick Westbrook-Akine can hopefully be some of that. But, yeah, it looks like it's just going to be more of the same, playing into their strengths. They just got more of the same. But I feel like Mike McDaniel's comfortable that way. And it works best that way, kind of.
Yeah, I guess so. Whatever. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not overly listen, Theo Weiss was kind of like Hayden Rucci, and Hayden Rucci almost made the squad this year. Like, he was pushing for a little bit
walking
there,
alone.
And we got him for another year to build him. I kind of saw that with Theo Weiss. Like, give him another year. Like, I wanted Theo Weiss to get it because you're giving Quinn Ewers another year. So I think he's going to have better play with the second stringers when Quinn Ewers is throwing to him than when a guy like Zach Wilson is, because and Quinn Ewers as a rookie. Like, I want Theo Weiss with someone who can distribute the ball. You know what I mean? I think, man, he was good. Wasn't he like I think he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school too, if I remember correctly. Like, I don't know. I think that's a guy, give another chance to develop through the season, and then another chance come next training camp with Tyreek probably out the door. Maybe he, finds a way to sneak in as that 5th or 6th guy, right? So.
Yeah, another thing I really liked about how they handled the practice squad thing, I was a big advocate for this too. A lot of people wanted them to keep Theo Weiss and Andrew Armstrong. I kind of like Theo Weiss and AJ Henning because it's 2 different types of guys. Plus, the special teams value with AJ Henning is kind of important.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So I think that was a perfect stash for the receiver room altogether. And then, Hayden Rucci, obviously, big fan of Hayden Rucci here. No surprise. But, I like Hayden. I thought he blocked his ass off. Gucci Rucci, that's right. Heck yeah. Blue collar, baby. Anyways.
Saquon Barkley is ridiculous, huh?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know what you're
This man just made a one-handed catch and then stiff-armed the defender that closed onto him and picked up the first down. Unbelievable.
It's Saquon. Backward hurdle. Creating moves on the fly.
Ridiculous.
Another thing I'm excited about, we improved our interior offensive line. And I think that's an area that the Colts have a weakness. And I really think that can benefit our run game Sunday. I really think there's no reason we can't go out there and run the rock.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of alluded to this earlier, right? Like, that's how you can mask Savai and Naya's weaknesses. It looks like that's what their strength's going to be. That's what their identity is going to be. They're going to be able to hit you with the outside zone, inside zone stuff, power gap stuff. They'll be able to mix it up with this. It looks like we built with intent on the inside. Aaron Brewer, I think not enough people cut him enough slack when he came over from Tennessee. When those people who were watching the film, you could easily see that he was like a perfect fit into this offense, right? And what we were going to ask him to do. And I think he's not only he's been that and more, right? He's wearing a captaincy. He's a leader, this team now. He's the leader of the offensive line. So, I think this, like I said, if this offensive line stays healthy, it's a top 15 in the NFL. And like Patrick Paul, he looks like he's going to step up and silence anyone who may have even doubted that he couldn't fill in for Teron Armstead, including myself. And it wasn't so much doubt, it was we don't know what we have.
Yeah.
And he's shown us all quickly that, you got something. So, yeah, I think with a lot of us, it was never about, hey, I doubt he can be good. It was we don't know because we had such a small sample size and it was so up and down last year. So, yeah. I think this offensive line, if it stays healthy, man, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Speaking of Patrick Paul, that might be one of the biggest, quickest turnarounds that we've seen. Like, a lot of people hated that pick. His film's not great. His technique's not great. He's kind of all over the place. He doesn't have great feed. His hand placement's awful. And a lot of that showed up last year too. And then it's just like he showed up this year and he's just a different player. Like, he looks like a seasoned vet holding it down, So, like, I think Patrick Paul, that has been an incredible, obviously very beneficial development for the team. But he deserves a lot of credit because he's clearly putting in the work and doing all the small things to fix his game, and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, the things that because I remember, I'm just like looking over because I remember I had my prospect preview and my scouting report written up here for him. And I remember, like, obviously the length is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking at his wingspan right now, 36 and a quarter inch arms and 86 and a quarter inch wingspan. That's crazy. But, it was never about that functional strength or his ability to lock out defenders. It was really, was his hand placement going to get better? He was wide on a lot of defenders' pads. I remember when you watch the film, he was getting away with a lot of holds. Like, that was the one thing was evident. Like, man, a lot more flags could have came on him. And yeah, you saw the feet were super clunky and slow to get to his landmarks. But what did he do? He slimmed down.
Yeah.
But he built his functional strength. He built his core strength. He slimmed down so he's quicker. And is he still a guy you want out on an island right now and he's going to lock it down? I don't know yet. Against a guy who can convert power to speed, I don't know yet. I know if that's a guy who can only convert speed to power, then he's going to take, I like his chances against a power rusher. But speedy, shifty rushers with, a big arsenal of pass rush moves and a good pass rush game plan, they might give him issues right now. We just don't know. It's not a matter of like, okay, give me a season and come back and say, hey, what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, but we just don't have a sample size yet. You know what I mean? We just don't know. But I'm telling you, the early returns have been very fruitful. And dude, we might got something here. You know what I mean? Do we have Teron Armstead? I don't think so. But I think we got a guy who can. I'd say this offensive line could be top 15. I think he could be a top 15 left tackle in the league in year one. That's at least what is, what you're seeing flashes of right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. No complaints here. I think what you was talking about is kind of like what you had on your scouting report. I remember hearing a lot of freak athlete that just gets away with a lot of shit that you normally wouldn't if he wasn't that big. Like, when you're in the right place and you have them long of arms, even if you miss the block, you got enough length to kind of keep people out of plays a lot. And a lot of people thought that was it. It was like he was having bad reps, but it's also like his worst rep is still holding blocks for 2.5 seconds because you got to get around him. I mean, I think he's going to be all right. Like you said, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold down the island. I think we're going to learn pretty soon. I mean, obviously the season's starting, But I definitely respect this game enough right now to not have to
you're
really
intrigued.
worry about it.
You got to be intrigued right now. The only thing I don't agree with on the offensive line is I would have started Savai Naya at right guard, and James Daniels already proven at the NFL level at left guard. So why are we even working with this? You know what I mean? And plus, it gives Patrick Paul a little bit of a
Mentor.
leniency. Now I get it. They might have been thinking, hey, Austin Jackson's always hurt. We'd rather have James Daniels next to Larry Borum or whoever we need to have over there. You know what I mean? I'd get that, but man, I just feel like we're kind of forcing the rookie in a little bit of a learning curve, and that's going to basically impact us. I'm expecting it to impact us at some point because his pass pro reps are up and down. But oh boy, we got something in the run game with Jonas Savai. No, there's no doubt about that, dude.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of plays into my theory on what they thought. I think that the consensus was pretty much across the board. Jonah is a natural plug-in right guard. James Daniel at left guard between two veterans. That would have made a lot of sense. But I think just like you said, they know look, there's going to be a learning curve. We're going to take some lumps with Jonah at left guard. But him and Big Pat Paul on the left side, if we need to gain 4 yards, we can go gain 4 yards.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to live in that world. He might miss a pass rep. He might give up some things. But as we see in the preseason, you need to run the ball, go to the left.
And we're going up against a decent front this week, right? So you got DeForest Buckner, Leatu Latu, Kwity Paye, Grover Stewart. So you're going up against a decent front. Now, their linebacking core isn't as nearly as talented or as deep as what we have in Miami, but they've got and I don't think they're as deep up front. Their starting 4 up front are good, but I don't think their depth is that great. We're super deep defensively, but they're going up against a pretty good matchup of starters, so it should be interesting because those guys can stop the run too.
How long has it been since you've been able to say that they're not as good and in depth at linebacker as the Dolphins, dude? That felt good to hear, dude.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is one of the better front sevens I've seen since Zach Thomas and Jason Taylor were here. You know what I mean? This front seven is super talented. Zach Sealer, obviously top 5 defensive tackle in the league. I don't care what any ESPN list tells me. He's the most underrated player in the NFL, let alone defensive tackle. I think Kenneth Grant's special. You know where I'm at with that kid. Jordan Phillips, one of the youngest players in the NFL, looks like one of the biggest steals of the draft, and he's going to take Benito's job by week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And then look at that depth at edge, dude. Judon can rush the passer, stop the run. Then you got a rotation of Chubb and Phillips, and then you got Chop in the mix. That front 4 is disgusting, and then Benito Jones on the interior too. And Zeke Biggers looks like he's gonna be a hit. That front is disgusting. And then you talk about how good it feels to say about the linebackers because, dude, you got obviously Tyrell Dotson. They wanted Dre Greenlaw, but we're good with Dotson. Yep. And obviously one of the hearts of this defense, Jordan Brooks. Really one of the hearts of this team. Yeah. And then, dude, I don't know about you, but the best part of that under the sun thing to me was watching KJ Britt and Willie Gay. And with how good Willie Gay was through all camp and preseason, and then how good KJ Britt looked in those preseason games, even though he wasn't getting as much glitz and glamour, in camp, man, that front 7 is not only good, but it's deep, dude. If we had that kind of depth on the offensive line, would any of us be even caring about the tight end room and the cornerback room being, the tight end room being the weakest in the NFL and the cornerback room being seen as one of the weakest in the NFL? No, because, bro, we'd be like, this offense is about to wreck shop right now, but man, it feels like we're spoiled on defense, and I wish with that depth we were spoiled on offense a little more.
Yeah, it got a little better on offense, but you're right. And I want to make sure we bring this guy up because you may have brought him up, but I just want to make sure he gets his credit. Jordan Phillips was an absolute monster in preseason. Yeah. Dude, his strength at 20 years old to take on doubles and get off and still make the play on the goal line was incredible. They absolutely nailed this draft, man.
Yeah, they did. It's a good draft for sure.
And then to talk on the linebackers too, like I think they confirmed this today, I believe, but we were already thinking this. Willie Gay's got his own packages, so it's not just like he's depth at this point. Willie Gay might rush the passer. Willie Gay's going to be used a little bit as a chess piece. So that was really awesome to hear from Weaver today, to know that, like, yeah, Willie Gay's got his own damn package this season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm excited to see what that front seven does, because I'm on the record. I said it on the Colts preview, et cetera, on their channel. I said, listen, I think this could be one of the best front sevens in the AFC or the NFL. You know, like, I truly believe in this front seven.
No, I agree with you, especially if they stay healthy. Once
And
again,
I believe in Weaver.
No, Weaver, I think, yeah. Weaver stood the test of time. If he gets, speaking of, great segue, if he gets the most out of this secondary this year and somehow, keeps this defense a top 10 unit with the, the young group we have at cornerback, that would be, he's either going to take over here or take over somewhere. He's going to be a head coach.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the secondary. I guess we get to see this weekend. They got good weapons there, but they don't have anyone to just, like, I don't trust Daniel Jones to distribute the ball. But,
Right.
Josh Downs, Pittman, Alec Pierce. They drafted Tyler Warren. It'd be interesting, but we're gonna see so many 3 high safety looks, and we're gonna see so much rotation, and Melifanu, out of the slot on the boundary a little bit probably too. It's gonna be so diverse, especially if we have a lead, So I don't know. You go look at how Baltimore was built, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think what's just shock value to everyone right now is, through Flores, through Boyer, we were built from the back to the front, and now we're being built from the front to the back. And because of that, we're no longer investing highly in, cornerbacks. Now, we did invest a high draft pick in Cam Smith, and we'll see if something comes of that. But in terms of money, they've cut back the checkbook at spending on cornerbacks. So, but then you look at, like, I'm totally fine with the safety room. So, and I think the safety room is going to make up for some of that, lackluster corner play that we're expecting. Because I know people are excited about Storm Duck, but what are we really expecting from Jack Jones and Rasul Douglas? Now, they're both seasoned veterans, and they could surprise us. But, I mean, I think we're all more intrigued to see what Storm Duck can do, and if he can come out as a true bona fide number 2 from this test or whatever, as opposed to like, oh, what's Rasul going to do? Or, so now I hope Rasul has 23 picks, but I he took a step back last year. So, I don't know. I go back to trusting Weaver. So, and, you're going to go back and watch the film. Even if Daniel Jones hits them, you're going to see if guys are running past them and getting open or whatever the case may be is. So, you'll be able to see how they're playing even if the ball isn't coming their way. So, I don't know. I just, that is another wait and see approach to me as a secondary. Do I trust the names of the players I see on the, depth chart? Not necessarily, other than like Minka and a few of those safeties.
Right.
But, again, I trust Weaver, so he's got something up his sleeve.
For me, it's pretty simple. Like, I hate losing Cater was a tough blow because I think he's so critical to this scheme. I don't think a lot of people realize that. Obviously, he was our best corner, but he also unlocks a lot of things. And you can have somebody in the nickel that you trust. It lets you to do so many things. But for me, thinking about how I felt about this defense before we got Minka for Ramsey and how I feel knowing that Minka is there, that was such a night and day difference. Being able to add an all-pro like Minka, especially with let's be honest, Ramsey was disgruntled. We was all like, just give us a 5th, 6th. Let's just get it over with. You end up bringing Minka back. I mean, that was a hell of a move. Like, honestly, you could ask me a million different trade options, and Minka was never coming back to Miami. That's not even on the table. So I think adding Minka, especially on the back end, to be a quarterback, to have a voice of reason, to kind of direct traffic and help those young guys a lot, I think that's probably the best outcome possible. Plus, I mean, we're going to see when the bullets get real, but man, Jason Marshall, that might be another steal, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Jason Marshall has. That'll be interesting for sure. Said Mike Hilton packing. So,
Yeah.
I'm a guy who I wasn't overly thrilled with the pick of Marshall. Wasn't, and again, hey, I'd love to be wrong. So hopefully they got something there. Because my whole thing with when we drafted him is he wasn't really going to contribute on special teams. So unless he's going to find a way into that rotation, I was like, well, what is he really going to offer to you? And kudos to him, he's found a way into that rotation.
Yeah, heck yeah, absolutely. Another compliment to that draft class this year. A lot of impact players playing time and people getting on the field early. All right, so all in all, what are you looking for most Sunday? Like, what are you watching? Where's your eye really going to be at?
I mean, probably the offensive line for sure is going to be where my eye's at the most. For sure, 110%. I trust Tua if he's upright. I trust that receiving room. We can get by with the tight ends we have because of how dynamic our running back room and our receiving room is. Defensively, I trust the front seven. So I think the obvious answer would be to watch the secondary, but I want to see how we contain the run and especially how we are after contact because we were the worst team in the NFL in terms of allowing opposing yards after contact last year. So we got to fix that. So, and I think some of the guys they let walk, like Poyer and Holland, who were clearly in business for themselves at certain points of the season last year, and that's why they were whiffing on tackles or Poyer olaying Josh Allen into the end zone. Right? Thank God for flag called that back, but I think the tackling needs to be cleaned up, and that we were ninth in terms of if you look at us against the rush, and yet look at how bad we were after contact. If we were better after contact, this would have been a top 5 run defense.
Yeah.
And the front seven's just gotten stronger.
Yeah. I think I'm with you on it. I think it starts with the O-line, especially the improvement on the interior. Then it goes, does that help the run game? Can we establish a run game early? Also, we're in live bullets now. Does Ollie Gordon still look like the superstar he was in preseason?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Is he still gashing people? And then I'm going to the pass rush only in the sense that I want to see if it's really going to feast like we think it will. Is it really going to be that strong of an advantage for us? Which then leads me to the cornerback room. Because if they can feast like they should, then we'll see how good or not good the cornerback room will be. So I'll be watching the cornerback room a lot because if Danny Dimes is ripping us up, it's going to be a long season.
Yeah. Because the interesting thing, though, is what happens if the edge room doesn't get home?
Right.
Because now if they don't get home and you got to hold your coverage, what are you now? We're going to find out. Now you're going to have to play with the big boys. Because that was even the scary thing you saw a little bit against the Jags when some of the starters were out there and they weren't getting home. And you were like, oh, okay, well, now they got to hold coverage. And, their backup quarterbacks were pushing the football down the field on us.
Yeah.
So that'll be another interesting thing, too, in terms of the pass rush.
Yeah, and then it makes you look at the edge room, too. It's like, oh, are we not really a juggernaut? Or all these guys it's just fireworks with no ass? Yeah.
Well, I know Chop good. Well, we're good on Chop. I know Chop's good.
Chop's a freak, man. So that would be discouraging for the edge room as well. It wouldn't just be a indictment to the cornerback room. It would be just an overall bad look. But that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I'm going from the front back. Once I realize the edge room's on point or not, then I'll be able to judge the secondary.
And another thing to watch is, has McDaniel changed any of his coaching tendencies at all? Is he better with time management? Because, Tua can't audible when you're getting to the offensive line, to get in the line of scrimmage with, 10 or 12 seconds left and you got 3 or 4 motions to go before you can even do anything. You know what I mean? Like, are you going to find that balance in the red zone, or are you going to become pass happy when you shouldn't? Are you going to be able to convert? A big thing I think we're all going to watch, are you going to be able to convert on 3rd and short?
Yeah. Because the first 3rd and short, 4th,
you're on the road too, brother. You got to convert that. That.
And you're going against the crowd noise. Yeah.
Especially early on, right? If you're put in that situation early on, you got to convert that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We get out the midfield the first drive. McDaniel's going to want to prove a point, and we hand it out like Ingold, and he gets stuffed in the backfield. It's going to be max chaos across the board everywhere. You already know how this fan base is going to react. So yeah, for sure. That's a good one. 3rd and short, 4th and short, punching it in on the goal line. Another thing, it sucks that we even had to say this, but like, what's his resolution to being figured out? Because like, he had the cheat motion the first year. They kind of took that away, kind of took the middle of the field away, started dropping their corner or linebackers back a little deeper. What is going to be, or is there going to be a wrinkle or a new like evolution to this offense that, allows us to be more successful, allows us to run the ball and benefit off play action and take some shots again? So I'm interested to see the overall look. I agree with you there.
Dude, that's been the question every single offseason, though.
Yeah.
What is McDaniel's answer going to be?
Well,
when
that's
he
why I
gets
said
figured
I hate
out by
to
the
bring this up
midseason?
again, but
he's never had an answer, though.
Yeah, that can even go into like first half to second half too. Like that's a big thing.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
what's
we need
his answer
adjust-
going to be by the second half when you start seeing teams, especially in your division, that not only have tape on you but are seeing you for a second time now? What are your adjustments going to be to their adjustments? And that's the thing. He doesn't adjust to the adjustments. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Okay, go back to 2023. Yes, we should have beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Germany, if not for 2 Tyreek Hill drops, one of them including a fumble that we got no points off of. He cost a 13 to 21 point swing on his own self against this team, not including the Jalen Waddle drop inside the 30 that we didn't get points off of. We should have won that game hands down.
Was that
but
Willie Gay?
I don't remember. But
I was running the ball back and never mind. Go ahead.
I don't remember. But I will say this. What happened when we went into Kansas City in some of the worst weather ever in a playoff game? We had basically the exact same game script and game plan. And you think Spagnuolo's going to get beat by that? You could see the adjustments had been made by them, right? Look how physical they were getting at the line of scrimmage with and in press man against guys like Tyreek and stuff like that, rerouting us, all that kind of jazz. And we were doing the same old. They saw the exact same team that they saw early in the season, while we saw a totally different version of the Chiefs defense in the way they played us stylistically and schematically. And again, he doesn't adjust to the adjusters, especially the great adjusters.
Yeah, and that's what separates those guys. That's really it. It's not about, and it's not so much like, I think you kind of hit on this a little bit. It's not just about adjusting. It's about just doing it before they adjust. You got to see the move before the next move, and you always got to be moving. It's almost like a boxing match. And I think one thing about Weaver that I really love is he seems to do it well.
Yeah, he does.
He seems to come out in the second half, and if there are some loose ends, he normally tightens them up.
He calls his defense much better than McDaniel calls the offense. If you want to call that as Weaver as a better play caller, knock yourself out. But he calls and understands his defense much better than where McDaniel does. And what's scary is look at, how much we talk about reps. How many reps has McDaniel had compared to Anthony Weaver? In terms of Weaver as a DC.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear where you stand on this because I'm one of the people. A lot of people want him to give up play calling. McDaniel. My thing is, I think we're too deep into it. I don't think, and the pride. I don't think he
won't.
Yeah,
he won't.
That'll never
it's
happen.
not even a conversation. He won't. I know
exactly.
for a fact he won't.
Thank you.
Yeah,
exactly.
like he won't. Like,
yeah,
because listen. It's crazy, and I bring this up all the time, and I don't even care. Listen, I was year one on my channel, and remember, I wanted McDaniel. I wanted McDaniel if you're going new. I wanted Harbaugh if you're going experienced. Because when we ended up with Godsey and Stoodsville, I wanted Pep Hamilton or Mike McDaniel the year before as OC. So as head coach, I wanted McDaniel or Harbaugh. Okay, so I love McDaniel. I've wanted him. Year one, dude. Okay, like midway through the season, live. Okay, on live reaction to the game and then the post game show, I flat out said he needs to give up play calling. It needs to be Darrell Bevel. He got the Seattle Seahawks to a to 2 Super Bowls as their play caller on offense, right? Sure. Did they make the right decision with, the Russell Wilson interception? No, but I think that was more political of like, they didn't want Marshawn. I think that came from, I've always said, I think that come from the top. They didn't want Marshawn to get the MVP because if he scores there, he gets the MVP. Anyways, we can talk about that another day. My point is, Darrell Bevel's proven, dude. Frank Smith, unknown. If Frank Smith was proven, I would be saying the same thing about Frank Smith. And then, a lot of people think they brought in Bobby Slowick as a potential, as a guy that could do that. But, he's not giving it up no matter what, dude. And Darrell Bevel, since year one, has been the guy who should have taken it over. But it's a pride thing. You're not going to make yourself look weak.
Yeah, I've said whether he should or he shouldn't, or it doesn't matter what I think. I think it's simple. He is not going to give it up unless he feels someone can call plays better than him. And in his mind, he doesn't think he has it.
No one can call this offense that he created better than him.
Right. So it's a moot point. It's just that's what we got until we don't have it or it works or whatever.
But you know what's crazy? Darrell Belva doesn't get enough credit for being the one that actually resurrected Tua. I think Darrell Belva played a bigger impact and influence on that situation than Mike McDaniel did.
Oh, that's interesting.
So,
I got so many names in that offensive the offensive side though with that staff is like.
Well, bro, do you remember Favre? And you remember Favre is the one who followed Bevel. Like Brett Favre followed Bevel around. He followed him to the Minnesota Vikings. Like, Darrell Bevel has a history of getting the best out of quarterbacks and connecting with quarterbacks. I'm telling you, man. Like, look at has Russell Wilson ever been the same guy since Darrell Bevel left Seattle?
No.
And that guy was like MVP candidate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the Russell Wilson downfall needs to be studied.
Yeah, like honestly. MVP candidate under Bevel. I'm telling you, dude. Bevel, players want to play for him. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make you better. And that's just that. Like, I'm telling you, like, trust me.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into the last call then. It's closing time. The lights are on. The music's off. Let's do our final predictions and final thoughts, and who do you think will end up being the player of the game for the Dolphins Sunday? Who will make the biggest impact?
2013 Dolphins is the prediction I made on the Colts preview show, and that I'll make on my own show. Who is going to be the impact player on offense for the Dolphins is going to be...
maybe it's not a surprising one really, but it might be due to circumstance, but I got mine.
I'm going to say Jalen Waddle because I think he's going to see Xavier Howard the most.
Okay.
And then on defense, I think it's going to be Zach Sealer because I think last year we wouldn't have lost to the Colts if Zach Sealer would have been healthy.
All right, I like that. I'm going 27-17. I'm hoping for a little more fireworks than you. My offensive player, I'm going Tyreek. I think that his name's been dragged through the mud all season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be motivated. I just think that's how it works. Tyreek has a big game, reminds everybody that, hey, I'm still Tyreek. I'm the cheetah. Calm down a little bit. I might be going after this year, but I'm here this year. And on defense, I'm going to go with Chop. I think Chop makes an impact. I think he makes life hard on Daniel Jones, which helps the rest of the defense. Chop Robinson would be my defensive player. Yeah.
Excited, man.
Heck yeah. Well, any closing thoughts?
No, man. I'm ready to finally just see the product. Like, I'm ready to, enough talk. Preseason's done. Training camp's done. It's felt like it's been forever. I'm ready to see because here's the thing. We all know this is basically a put up or shut up year.
Yeah.
And now the literal time has arrived for us to see if they're going to put up or shut up.
Across the board too.
Think about this. We're like 4 weeks away from really getting an understanding of what this team's going to be this season. And we've been talking about it for how long? Like, I'm getting a little bit of goosies even like just mentioning that, you know what I mean? Because we're about to find out what time it is. Like, is it going to be worth me coming down to the Bengals game in December? Or is it going to be a moot point? You know what I mean? Right before Christmas, like is this team going to be worth investing your time in this year? Like, but then at the end of the point, people are probably going to watch it, like how they all watch the tragedy of on the Titanic movie, right? They all replay the tragedy of the Titanic, that whole movie. Why? Because it's entertaining. You know what? And it's going to be entertaining for some because we know it's going to get fixed one way or another, whether they fix it themselves or whether the big boss comes down from upstairs and says, yo, crumble it all down, break it all up, and rehire everyone. And so it's either going to be exciting for the best reason possible, or it's going to be exciting for what could potentially be on the horizon.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to both sides, I guess. And you're right, man. It's like, dude, we're a month away from our season might be over in a month, or we might be on a 4-game winning streak and finally beat the Bills in Buffalo. It's like, I feel like the pendulum's so far apart, but you're right. It's like, we're either going to think like Super Bowl or we're going to just be looking for our next head coach in 4 weeks.
Well, think about this too. We're probably, how it usually goes. We're probably 12 weeks away from finding out whether Tua is the quarterback next year or not.
Hey, like I said, you said it's time to clean house. I think it's across the board now. It's not like we've gotten to the point where everybody's bought so much time that it ain't a head coach. It ain't just a quarterback. It ain't just a GM. I think it's everybody. I think if one person goes down, everybody goes down with the ship.
Yeah.
Or at least I think that's how it should be at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
Chris I know how his
third coach.
I know how history works around here, but I'm just saying, I think that's where we're at,
Yeah. So,
but yeah, awesome.
All right, man.
Great conversation, brother. Glad to be doing this, man. I had a blast. Appreciate you hanging out, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. If you don't already, you probably do. Go over to Phinside the NFL. Show Reason some love. This dude does more work than anybody. This dude's live for at least an hour, 6 days a week?
Yeah, during the season, Monday to Friday, and then twice on Sunday.
This guy's putting in that work. And now he's coming over here to share some love, doing more work. So show Reason some love, man. He puts in the work. He does the work. He stands on business and he stands by everything he says. So I respect him. And yeah. All right. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother.